Hey guys, welcome to Kick Steel's Ramblings with me, your girl Kick Steel. If you're new here, thank you so much for taking the time out to click on my video. I really and truly hope that you like the content here. It is greatly appreciated. Your presence is greatly appreciated. And if you are not new, I really and truly appreciate you coming back and taking the time out to be here. I really and truly appreciate your presence here. Today, we'll be talking about toxic traits. Toxic traits. We all have them. I have them. You have them. We all have them. And if you're there thinking, no, Kicks, I don't have any toxic traits. Right there lies your toxic trait. Yeah, we all have them. We all have them. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, really and truly, I'm not. But we do all have toxic traits. Sometimes when we think about toxic traits, we think about something, big and major. But toxic traits can be something as simple as always saying yes. Yeah, but we'll get right into it. So let's cue the intro and then we get into the discussion for the day. Okay, so toxic traits. Earlier I said that we all have them. We all have them, and if you think you don't, take an introspective look at yourself. You will see that you really and truly have some type of toxic trait. As I'm saying this right now, I remember, for those of you who are familiar as well with the sitcom Girlfriends that starred, I was going to say June Clayton. That's not her real name. Tracee Ellis Ross. That sitcom Girlfriends, there was an episode where I think William was pointing out things to all of them. He was upset at them over something, and when he got to Joan, which is Tracy's character, she was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm perfect. And he said, that's your problem right there. So some of us are like that. We tend to not see our flaws, and we think that, hey, we're all good and we're all fine. But guess what? We all have toxic traits. And as I said before, it can be something as simple as always saying yes. Okay, so before we dive deeper into all of our discussion, let me start out by defining what a toxic trait is. And before I even get into that, a disclaimer. Having a toxic trait does not necessarily make you a toxic person. A toxic trait may be defined as an aspect of your personality that is negative or can evoke negative interactions with people as well as yourself. In other words, it is a negative trait that hinders growth socially, emotionally. The main reason I say that having a toxic trait doesn't necessarily make you a toxic person is this right here. Toxic people care mostly about themselves, right? Mostly about themselves. They're narcissists and they're manipulative and they're controlling. So yes, some toxic traits will lead to people being toxic people, toxic individuals. But if you have a toxic trait such as always saying yes or bottling up your emotions, that does not mean you don't care about people. Maybe you care a little bit too much, as in, always saying yes, you care a little bit too much about people and not enough about yourself. And that is where the negative downplay comes into focus, where you, the individual, is concerned. And I know that many of you may be wondering, why do some of these traits get the name toxic? What about it? And it's as simple as this. When something is toxic, it means that it's poisonous, it is dangerous, it is bad for you. It's the same thing with these traits. They can be poisonous to your personal development and your personal growth. They can be dangerous towards your social interactions within society. So that's why we call these traits toxic. No, don't feel bad because you have a particular toxic trait, because guess what? Nothing is set in stone. It is a part of your personality, but you can change it. There's something that I really despise hearing when people are like, oh, this is how I am. and I am not changing. I can't change. Take it or leave it. No, 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 honey. That is not how it works. You can change if you really and truly want to. Because at the end of the day, the fact is some people out there, they're really crappy. They're really crappy. They have some tendencies, some traits that are really crappy, and it is hard for anyone within society to deal with them. You have people in your life that you love dearly, but you have to love them from afar because of how they are. Persons who are poor at communicating. Poor communication is a toxic trait, depending on how you look at it. People who have a hard time saying sorry, persons who will not admit that they are wrong. These are people that you try your best to avoid. Because the thing is this, we all have traits, we all have parts of our personalities that we need to work on, parts within us that we need to work on. We are not perfect, and we need to always be mindful of our flaws and how we can be better people in society. Which leads me to my next point: ways to deal with and overcome your toxic traits. The very first step is to be mindful. Be mindful of your traits that are seen as negative, or let me not say seen as negative, that are negative. So be mindful of those traits that are negative. The next step is to make an effort, an intentional and consistent effort to purge yourself of these traits. So let me go back to the example I was using from earlier. Always saying yes. Now, you have a friend who comes to you and say, hey, I'm going to a party Friday night and I would like if you could babysit my kids. Now you have plans Friday night as well, but because you want to please people, always saying yes comes down to people pleasing, and that is never a good thing to do. So you want to please people, so guess what you do? You call up whoever it is that you had plans with. You cancel your plans so that you can facilitate your friend, and you're missing out on so much with whoever it is. Maybe it was a boyfriend, a best friend, a family, whatever the case is. Could be something for work, but because you want to please this friend, you say yes when you know that it will inconvenience you. And people pleasing, always saying yes, can be something that is deeply rooted in the need to be accepted or the need to feel as if you belong. So if you should say no to someone's request and you fear that they may get angry with you and then never speak to you again, or which in turn will mean that you're no longer accepted or this person no longer likes you. So sometimes when we please people, it is because we want to feel a sense of love, appreciation, a sense of acceptance that, hey, someone out there checks for me. And you are really and truly destroying yourself and your self-concept. And that is why these traits are called toxic, because they are damaging. So you have to make an effort to overcome these traits. So first thing, admit it. I am a people pleaser. Next step is, what can I do to get rid of this trait? First thing first, stop inconveniencing yourself for the benefit of others. So you make an effort to do that. I am not saying that you're going to walk around now and tell everyone no. Hey, can you? No. Hey, what up? No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to be mindful of what you're saying yes to and what position saying yes puts you in. So in other words, to deal with your own toxic traits, you have to activate your self-awareness. You have to become mindful to how saying yes will affect you. So all in all, you admit your toxic traits to yourself. Don't be in denial about it. Make an effort, and you have to practice good habits that will break the cycles of the toxic traits. There was this trend going around on social media in recent years where some persons were outing themselves, speaking about their toxic traits, and I have some of them here, but some don't necessarily have the names attached, so I'm just going to share a couple with you. First user says that his or her particular toxic trait is that they shut down and push people away. Even when they need someone in their corner, they really and truly just isolate themselves and suffer in silence, all because they feel that they do not deserve help. You see how this can negatively impact someone? You don't think you deserve help, so you don't seek the help even though you want to, and even though you need to. That right there's a toxic trait. So in this case, you just have to admit and tell yourself that you deserve it. Another one is another user is stating that his or her toxic trait is that they never speak up. They get mad and just distance themselves from everyone until they're not mad anymore. Now, I have personal experiences with people like this, and these people, it's hard to maintain relationships with people like this, and it is very hard to be around persons who are like this, because you may say something to offend them, you may do something that will hurt them, and instead of speaking up and say, hey Kicks, you did such and such and I felt a particular way, or whatever the case may be, they shut down, get mad, distance themselves, push you away when you try to reach out, and then it can strain the relationship because it feels as if you're always doing something wrong, and you reach out to the person and they're just like meh, even ignoring you and such. It's very hard to maintain relationships with persons who really and truly just don't speak up, and this right here is a communication thing. It is a communication thing. But the good thing with this user is that they have acknowledged that they know that, hey, I have a problem, this is my toxic trait. Some persons, they don't, so they do not work on it. Some persons, they acknowledge but they don't work on, while others put in the work to communicate effectively or to say something. So yeah. And since we're here talking about toxic traits, let me out myself and tell you about one of my toxic traits. And it's that I face everything on my own, and I deal with most things on my own. I rarely seek help, and it's not because I'm prideful. Some persons will think it's because of pride. Nah. As J. Cole said, pride is the devil. No. It's not pride, but I don't think it's prideful. And Lord, if I'm prideful, please take it away from me. But I think it's more so that I don't want to burden other people with my problems. Also, I sometimes don't know how to express. I fear being misunderstood, and there are some trust issues behind it as well. So yeah, and there are times when I know that I need someone, but it's just hard for me to let go and allow someone to help me in my struggle. I guess that all boils back down to vulnerability. Remember that first video? If you didn't listen to that video, go ahead and check it out. That was the first official video that I posted after my intro video. But as I said, I admitted it. I am working on it. Nowhere near being perfect, but at least I'm taking steps to be better. So that's the thing, guys. Acknowledge your toxic traits, acknowledge them, be mindful, and make the proper steps to rid yourself of these traits. You will thank you. All right, guys, so in wrapping up, I just want to encourage you just to be mindful. So basically, just reiterating what I just said, be mindful of your toxic traits. Remember, it is not always the other person. Sometimes it is you who have things to work on, to work through. It is not always the other person, right? So be mindful, make the steps. If it's a case that you actually need to seek professional help, do that. There is no shame in that, because at the end of the day, we want to be our best selves, not only for people, no, but mainly so for ourselves. We want to be the best selves that we can be for us and stop hindering ourselves with things that are stunting our growth. So if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say a big thank you. I really and truly appreciate it. Remember, you can always give your feedback in the comment section. I look forward to interacting with you. And thank you again for making it Kicksteel's Ramblings with your girl Kicksteel. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Stay blessed.